the cape. One holds the heart, one opens the gate. Stories of streamers, life behind the glow, mental health, hustle, and learning as we go. Two paths meet in a world we create. One keeps it grounded, one celebrates. This is the compass and the cape, where real meets raw. We laugh, we lift, we learn from the fall. From stream talk to soul talk, we won't fake. Come get real with the compass and the cape. It's okay to pause, to heal, to relate. It's time to tune into the compass and the cape.
Hey, welcome back to the Compass and the Cape.
Hey everyone, we're so glad you guys can make it back for episode 5. We have a great episode today. And right off the bat, out of the way, I want to let you guys know that we appreciate you guys so much. We appreciate all the support, all the comments, and all the views that we have been getting. And we literally couldn't do this without your all support. And we appreciate it so much. Also, don't forget we have our Discord for the Compass and the Cape that you guys can join to keep up with what Hero and I are doing and future episodes, future guests, or just to leave comments or things that you'd like to see on the podcast. And also, we have a community events channel where you can advertise your stream event and we can help you get the word out and help advertise.
Thanks, Com. Friendly heads up, adventurers. Today's guest is fully leveled up in the art of speaking freely. Yes, that includes a few spicy words here and there. So if you've got any tiny heroes nearby or you're listening at work, it may be time to pop in those earbuds. You've been warned. Oh, yeah. Now, let's roll. Today's hero spotlight shines on a streamer who's braved the wild world of streaming, building an engaging channel, and has some experience and feedback for all of us on her overall journey and her recent subathon. So let's give it up for Gypsy Cinderella. Let's go. We're going to head on down to Hero Hall and say hello to our pal, Gypsy.
Let's go.
Ta-da! Here we are. And here's our pal, Gypsy. Welcome, Gypsy,
Hello.
to the Compass and the Cape.
Thank you.
Welcome, Gypsy.
Hello, Calm.
We're so glad that you're here.
Absolutely. So stoked. So we're going to get into your origin story just right off the bat. So, yeah, should be great.
Yep, let's get right to it.
Okay.
So what first got you into streaming?
Okay. So, I know this is a streamer part of your segment, but it actually correlates with mental health
It's fine.
and the gaming. So I'm going to kind of combine both, if that's okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have been married for the last 5 years, and we moved to a very rural area. And I was trying to find hobbies because my husband calls me his trophy wife, so I don't have like a job outside of this.
Aw.
Yeah. So I get spoiled a lot, but then in the time that I'm by myself, my husband is at work, my son is at school. You can only clean your house so much and find little hobbies, but there's no connection, there's no companionship outside of that, right? So I wanted a different identity other than mom and wife.
Sure.
Oh,
And
gosh.
I had tried so many other things as hobbies. We spent, my husband has spent so much money on me. He's like, if you want to try it, I'll get it for you. If it doesn't work, then you know that that's not for you, right? And I was
What
like,
a guy. What a guy.
He's amazing.
Yeah.
He's an amazing man. And I game all the time. But he was like, why don't you try streaming? And I was like, oh, my anxiety would never, right? Like, I can't, there's no way. Like, people watching
That
me.
sounds so familiar.
Yeah. I was like, absolutely not. So I tried a couple more things, and he was like, look, I got you a webcam. I got you another monitor. We're going to upgrade your computer. And he's like, I think you should just try it.
Wow.
And so I started streaming the second week of March, I believe, which I had met you officially on April 1st is when one of my
Wow.
streams was.
Yeah, okay.
And that was very, very beginning of my journey. And I had 33 followers, I believe. And I just, that night, like I had this like exhilaration, right? Like the anxiety was, oh, it was like top notch, but I was like, ooh, I'm like thriving on this. I love this. And it's just kind of picked up from there. But I started this to get out of my head, to get out of my depression, to get out of overthinking everything and being left to my thoughts for, 12, 13 hours a day while my husband was at work. And my son is a teenager, so he comes home and he wants to get on his games and have nothing to do with mom, right? So like alone
Yeah.
with
I
my
understand that.
yeah.
Yep.
So that's how I ended up here.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I love the fact that because you answered several questions all at once. Oh, that's great. That's fantastic. Sharing your story. But I mean, because you went over the moment where you thought, yeah, this is what I want to do, and it was the end of that April, the April stream that you were talking about, right?
Yeah, April Fools. I was like, is this for real?
Am I April Fools
Fools.
myself?
Yeah. It's pulling my leg.
Did you say April Fool's is it? Foolsing?
April Foolsing?
How'd you say that?
April Foolsing? Yeah.
Yep, April Foolsing. We have a new word. April Foolsing. Oh, you can make that a sticker, Gypsy. Your famous stickers. April Foolsing.
We're not gonna get into that yet.
You can make it for
your
your
me first.
Oh, okay. Start slow.
Your 1 year anniversary next year, next April 1st. You could be like April Foolsing. Just April Foolsing.
I have ideas for that already. So
Nice. But I also like the fact that you didn't necessarily plan on the whole community building. It just happened for you. And
it did.
Yeah. And I think that this is during our pre-screening, when we were talking about my first impression for you and why I gave you a shout out was that when I popped into your stream, you were so warm and it was so welcoming, and it was like I was just coming over to a friend's house. And I always said, immediately I stayed and I watched before I even said hello. I just watched your interaction. And then I was like, oh, I'll say hey. I like it in here. Let's say hey. And then you just like took me in, and I swear I was like, man, I feel like I'm going over to my friend's house or something. And I was like, this chick has got it. There are some people who really have to work for that and you just naturally had it. And so I felt that was pretty shout out worthy, and that other people needed to come and meet you.
Thank you.
Yeah. You did that.
I remember after watching one of the first times I watched her streams, which is around the exact same time. And I remember sending you a message on Discord afterwards and was like, wow, you did it. I really enjoyed your message telling you that I really enjoyed your stream and that like you did so well. And then I got used to watching you every day that you streamed because I was out of work at the time because I had surgery. And then I had to go back to work, and I was like, dang, I'm actually going to, one of the things that I'm actually regretting going back to work is I'm not going to get to watch Gypsy's streams because your streams were during the day while I was at work. And I remember messaging you and being like, dang, I don't get to see your streams no more. I miss you.
And I remember getting that message from you. And remember, okay, so what did I start? Second week of March. So I've really only been doing this for about 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
you've
look at the
grown
timeline.
so fast.
So this is like I'm picking up what people are putting down, right? But when you messaged me that, and I remember that message because I remember turning to my husband and being like, people are complimenting me on my streams. And he's like, well, you're fucking awesome. And I was like, you're biased, so you can't say that. And he's like, and just would walk off. And I'm like, dude, you you can't say that kind of stuff because you're biased. And he's like, but people are messaging you, telling you like, hey, I really like your content. And it was so surreal to me because I'm
Yeah.
like, it took me a long time to understand too. And that it comes with watching other people's streams and knowing what I like and the kind of content I like and being interactive with people. And I get it now. But like 2 weeks in or 3 weeks in, and you get compliments and you're like, what? What? Like, you don't know how to take those. So it is,
Me?
it's a
No.
learning curve for sure, because that's just to get messages from, say, random strangers where they're like,
Yeah.
hey, I really enjoy your content. Like, processing that and this becoming a real thing was a
Mhm.
lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So, but it was nice because I was like, oh, I'm doing something good. So that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Eh,
are. You are doing something good, and
It's
you're
true.
great at it.
Yeah. And for 3 months, 3 months? I mean, you've had
Yeah,
like fantastic growth for 3 months. Incredible. Incredible. Well earned, friend, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, Gypsy, let's talk subathon.
Hmm.
So, the reason I wanted to bring this up, outside of questions from the Discord community, but also because of how new you are as a streamer, you know,
Right.
for you maybe 3 months in, but you did your subathon, what, your second month then? Or something? It was very early.
So
Mhm.
I made affiliate 2 weeks in,
Yeah.
which
Incredible.
I contribute that to your streamer shout out because you came in, you were like, hey, I'm giving you a streamer shout out. And I was like, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, what? I don't know what that is. Like, thank you. Very naive,
Thanks.
right? But I ended up getting, I think I was at 33 and I ended up with almost 60 followers that night. So,
Wow.
yeah, like it was, and it just kept going and going and going. So, one way to break a streamer is that because I had no idea what was going on. Um, like my notifications just kept going off, and I was like, just I paused. I was like, I thank you. I don't know what this is, what's happening. And then later I saw your TikTok and I was like, oh my God, that's what that was.
Yeah.
But being a noob, and I had zero information about the streamer community before. So this was literally brand new. But
Yeah.
so I made affiliate 2 weeks in, and Burt's Bees was actually he was my first sub
Twitch
Okay.
Jesus.
ever.
Woo!
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah. And he has become one of my best friends through this journey. So that's awesome.
Amazing.
But he was like, you should do a subathon. And I was like, again, I don't know what that is. And he was like, a subathon. I was like, you can repeat it, but I still don't know what that means.
Like saying the same word over
Yeah,
again
he's like,
makes it.
a subathon, Gypsy, a subathon. I was like, yep, don't know what that is. So he sent me a bunch of information on it, was trying to explain it to me. And I was like, what would I even do? Right? Like, I only have so many people. And I learned a lot from the subathon.
Yeah.
I did it way too soon. Way too soon. I think it was a good experience for me though, because the technical issues that I experienced that I now know better and can fix. The response that I got from certain things doing the subathon, some of them great, some of them not. You could tell when people kind of tuned out to certain things. And I was a bartender for, I'm just going to say, about 20 years. So that is a type of entertainment in my brain, right? Like you have
Sure.
to entertain people if they're going to be in there for a long time, and different personalities. So I kind of have picked up on this will work, this will not work. So I went through my book afterwards and I was making notes. This is what did not work on my subathon. Also, again, I did it way too early, way too early. There wasn't enough like traction on my page to get a response that most people would expect.
Okay.
But I think if you do one, don't have any expectations for it. Also,
Hmm.
like if I went into that thinking, oh, I have 100 followers and I'm going to make rent on this, you are setting yourself up for failure immediately. Do not have any expectations going into it, even if you get one sub, even if you only get a couple of follows, even, like if your chat's not blowing up, you are not doing this for other people. If you are making this into a job, you're already failing, period. Like, this is supposed to be something that is fun. And if you're working at it and you're setting those expectations, like if you go into your 9 to 5 job, you're expecting a paycheck at the end of that. This is not one of those things, and it will never, ever be one of those things, right?
That's good
I've seen,
advice.
I've seen streamers with 3,000-4,000 followers
Yeah.
complaining about not making the money that they're expecting in their streams.
Mhm.
But that's because this is not a 9 to 5. Like you can't expect to get that from a stream ever.
Yeah. So you mentioned several things. You mentioned
Okay.
tech issues. You mentioned some of the hardest parts, and then we'll cover some of the most rewarding. So maybe let's
Right.
start there. So what were some of the hardest parts? And I also want to mention to everyone listening, Gypsy said something really great a second ago when she was explaining this experience. And she said that she took notes and she went back and she reviewed those notes. And
Yes.
that's a huge thing. I know several streamers who keep a notebook or some kind of paper and pen by the desk while they're streaming. So they take notes of several different things. Yeah. Who comes by, things that have went really well. Yeah. I mean, I have 3 in front of me currently. So
I've got 2 over here.
it's something to also keep in the forefront of your mind is you will not remember whatever point that you think you're going to remember later. It's going to be gone, right? Write it down as it happens so that you can review it as a lessons learned or something later. But when you said notebook, I was like, absolutely. It's so important. But yeah, the hardest parts.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Just at any moment or just the subathon?
So
Oh, you
we'll
guys are
get to
frozen.
the any moment, but subathon specifically.
Okay. Okay, so hardest parts of the subathon, again, it was performing for an audience that I could not see.
Mm-hmm.
Having anxiety and being by myself for like 5 years. And then having to perform basically because this is entertainment, right? Like you don't go into this. People don't want to come and just watch a blank, like a screen with somebody playing a game. Like I could buy the game and play it and see how it is, right?
Right.
So to me, I go into this is entertainment. So trying to find things that were funny and entertaining and engaging. Again, a lot of the stuff that I came up with by myself was a bust. So that was one of the hardest parts. And I think reaching out to your community, if you have a Discord, and asking what their opinions are, making a poll, doing stuff like that, seeing what people are into, like
Mm-hmm.
you're getting a group opinion and you're not just coming up with stuff out of your head that you're like, oh, yeah, that's going to be hilarious. And then other people are like, well, it's not as funny as I thought it was going to be. Right. And
Yeah.
that's the hard truth. Like
Yeah.
sometimes we think things are way funny in our head than they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And you learn it really quick. I think the other part was I had 0 idea how to do audio. Audio has been my nemesis
Oh
from
God.
day one. And if you have crappy audio, it doesn't matter how funny you are, how entertaining you are, how engaging you are, people will tune out immediately
Oh yeah.
because they can't hear you. Your audio is clipping, your game is too loud. Even if you sound great, your game is too loud and it's overshadowing you. You have to find a balance. And I think that was that was the hardest thing. And even after the subathon, I'm still working on my audio and I have plugins and like a really nice microphone and like all the things, but there's always room for adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
Also the webcam thing, like lighting, all of that stuff. Like it's just learning, it's learning a completely new world from not knowing anything about it, I think was the hardest for me. And some people might do this stuff all the time and be like, "Oh, that's no problem." Me personally, I had to dig into like terms and phrases like limiters and gain and
Mm-hmm.
equalizer and not knowing what any of that meant. And I, at nights, sometimes I would go to bed crying because I was like, I just can't figure this out. It's so hard.
Yeah.
It's one of the most difficult things I've ever learned.
You know what I love is that you just said it's one of the most difficult things you've ever learned. You did learn it, and you're continuing to learn it.
It will be continuous because this is evolving.
Yeah. I love that you just like, you didn't get fed up and quit or whatever. Like you're constantly working on it. And
oh, I thought about it.
oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
gets
I feel
tough.
you. I feel you.
Yes.
It gets tough. When you said earlier that you started way too early, what do you mean?
Right.
Like the subathon, you had it way too early.
Sorry, I just choked on my spit.
Yep.
Yes. I think
All good.
I think I started too early on that. Because I was going off of suggestions from other people
Mhm.
who had, 800 plus to a couple thousand followers, and they are already in the mindset of like, hey, you should do this and it will bring you people, it will make you income, it will do all these things for you. But with, let's just say I was 60 followers at the time of affiliate, because you have 1,500 followers, let's say, that doesn't mean you're getting 1,500 people in your channel to view you, right?
Right. Yeah.
You have to earn those views. You have
Mhm.
to earn your community. You have to build relationships and all that. So looking back on it, I definitely would have waited until probably till I'm at the point where I'm at now.
Mhm.
My average views right now is 15 to 23.9.
Let's go.
And
That's incredible.
that's right.
amazing.
That's great. That's great. And
That's
still, I
amazing.
had no idea what that meant until like a month ago. And then I was like, oh shit. Like, okay. Like, right. Still a noob, still naive to a lot of this, but I'm learning it on the fly. I would have waited and then made it an event, but I would have included my community in it more and not just made it like a comedy show. Because and there was funny parts um in my um
Subathon?
subathon. Thank you. My
Mhm.
brain just like stopped. There was funny parts in my subathon. Please edit that out.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Her face was like,
I'm a help. Okay. So there was funny parts in my subathon where like my husband was sitting behind me in my chair and I would just like pull my hoodie up over his head and I was trying to direct him to do my makeup and
I
stuff
remember
like
seeing
that.
that.
Yeah,
And
that
That
was
was
great.
funny.
That was great.
right, like
Yeah, that I like
I
that
thought
part.
I thought that was funny in my head and it translated well.
Yeah.
And then there was parts that did not translate so well, like Mildred, and that is my alter ego when I'm drunk. She was not a hit. She is also not a hit at the bar. So, scratch Mildred. But then there was like the pie in the face. My chat was egging it on. They were like pie in the face, pie in the face, pie in the face, to the point where like I had a blindfold on at one point And my husband was watching chat for me, and he just walked off and grabbed the pie and then almost suffocated me with whipped cream in my nose because chat was like, "Pie her now." And then I had
Death
the
by
other
pie.
death by pie. I was like trying to blow it out of my nose. I was like, "What the hell?" So then there was another part where he had pied me, and I was like, "Oh my God, you guys, this is ridiculous." And something happened because we were supposed to not say shenanigans or something like that. And I
I
was like,
remember
"Oh
this.
my God." And I touched my microphone with whipped cream on my face. And I was like, "Look." And then all of my audio went out
I do
in the
remember your
middle.
audio going out, but
I
I
didn't
didn't.
see
I didn't
that
remember
one.
that part, like you touching the mic.
Yeah. And I have a stain. And I've washed this, but this will be forever my Subathon mic because there's a stain on it from the oil.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, my audio went out and it was pure chaos. But I took away from it that I had a good time. I made memories with my husband. There are people that are like my OGs that remember and they're like, "You remember that one time?" and blah, blah, blah. And like they'll bring up the subathon and I'm like, "All right, cool." Like some of it was memorable and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like me making memories with people and making friendships, like that's a lot of what this is for me personally.
Sure. Yeah. Good deal. So that would probably fall under the most rewarding parts of the subathon.
Uh yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
No, like I learned a lot about myself and going out of my personal boundaries and being uncomfortable and learning what it is to be an entertainer.
Yeah.
And I think that resonated with me and how I conduct my other streams.
Mhm. I love that. Lots of really good takeaways from that. If you had to give any streamers that are thinking about doing a subathon, what advice would you give them? Just like a couple of key factors right off the bat that you think would be a priority to consider.
Well, like I said before, don't have any expectations of what you're going to come away with because you have to remember that people are paying you for entertainment. And if you don't have a connection with your community, you're already going to be disappointed. And that's most people probably don't want to hear that, but this is an entertainment industry, period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, if you go into it thinking like, "Oh, I'm going to make $600 or whatever," remember, like, these are people who are using their hard earned money to help support you because they believe in what you're doing. They think you're entertaining. They want to tune into you when they're at work or can pop you into their headphones or whatever. Like,
Hmm.
never expect anybody to, and that the whole like, "Hey, if you sub to me, like, I'll get rid of the ads or whatever." You know what I mean? Like, it can be very tacky.
Yeah.
So be genuine. Um, People will reward you for being you.
Yep.
And I think that's a big thing. So no expectations when you do a subathon, and also just have fun. Be yourself. Let who you are shine through that, and people are going to love you. And if they don't, then that's not your group.
Yep.
Yep.
You'll weed them out
Absolutely.
quick.
Gypsy, leading into the next part of the podcast, I would like to know how do you balance the growth that you've experienced so quickly while also protecting your mental and emotional health? Because I know that when you grow really quickly and not knowing a lot about streaming and being in the content creation aspect, it can really play a lot with your mental health and your emotional health. And I know one time you and I actually talked in a DM before
Mhm.
about imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Uh, so how have you been balancing that and protecting that?
Okay. I feel like there was a lot of questions in that.
Oh,
if
sorry.
if it's okay. If
Okay,
I
but
miss something, just
yeah.
remind me and
Just
I'll answer that.
how are you balancing, your mental health and emotional health while streaming and while growing so quickly?
Well, again, I started doing this for my mental health,
Mhm.
Mhm.
but so I am bipolar and I have a tendency to hyperfixate on things, especially if I get the creative bug, which hero,
Mhm.
you know how that
Yep.
goes.
Yep.
So if I have
Mhm.
an idea for something, I will think of 100 different ways to do it. And I want to stay up and I want to learn it until I figure it out. Right.
Yep.
So I recently just took a break, which you guys know.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I did talk to Calm about it because you're right. The imposter syndrome. I'm like, well, if I'm gone for a week,
Yeah.
people are going to forget. Right. Like it's just, okay, move on to the next. Right. Like, there's always that feeling of I have not created the connection with the community that I want yet or I feel safe in.
Mm.
But that feeling never goes away. So it's learning to be uncomfortable with it, I think. But I was streaming Monday through Friday for 3 to 4 hours at a time. And then after I would get off, I would go pick up my son, come home, immediately get back on the computer, start clipping, trying to figure out how to do editing, watching back my VODs, trying to make notes on like, okay, I need to adjust this and adjust that. And before I knew it, it was 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had to
Mhm.
be up at 5:30 in the morning with my son. And this went on for probably a good 2 months.
Mm.
And recently I got on and I was like, I feel like I'm gonna have a fucking breakdown on live. And I just wanted to cry, not because like anything was wrong, just because I was so tired. And there's always something to do. It's always gonna be there for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like it's never gonna go away. Like you're always, if you're growing, you're always gonna have things you want to change. So I had to take a step and say, I need to completely remove myself for a week and I need to reprioritize. I will get caught up on things because I'm never going to fully step away from that. And I know that about myself. Don't judge me.
We listen and we don't judge.
Right. So I took time to go over my VODs. And I tried not to lurk anybody because I get sucked into wanting to
Oh my
create those
gosh.
connections with people, right? So then you put your stuff off. And again, it piles and piles and piles.
Yep.
So I took a week and I let everybody know in Discord, like, hey, I have to do this for myself because I literally can't keep up. And this is full time for me. And again, praise be to people who have full-time jobs and then do this and still put out content every day. Y'all are real ones because nope.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So I took a week off and I had to learn to set boundaries with myself. So my schedule has changed. I will do a day, one day I will stream, the next day I will take off. Then I will do a stream, and then the next day I will take off. When my alarm goes off at night, I go to bed, whether I'm tired or not, and I don't touch the computer. If I want to take notes or do something so I'm still feeling productive, because I don't like that feeling of not being productive, like,
Mhm.
um, but just stepping away from that.
Mm.
Um, I've kind of lost sight of where the question was, how do I protect my mental health, right?
Yeah, yeah. You're doing
Well,
great.
I mean, you didn't step away.
Okay.
All of those are things to protect. So you're still on track.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, but just stepping away from, I guess, interaction because I couldn't take care of the things that I wanted to on a personal level. Like I would put off vacuuming and doing like normal daily stuff. Like my laundry was piling over because I was like, no, I have to learn how to do this. And you hyperfixate on
Mhm.
it and
Mhm.
other parts of your life start being negatively impacted. That's when you know, like, okay, you
Yep.
got to calm down because your life is still happening outside of this.
Yep.
And if people aren't there and they don't realize, like, hey, like, this might be full time for this person, but I still have a 14-year-old. I still have a husband. I still have 4 animals. I still have a house that I have to take care of, right? Like my husband pays for everything, but I am the housewife. Like this is my job and this was supposed to be a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to learn how to balance that. So creating a schedule and sticking to it is one of the best things I have done. And I've
Absolutely.
only done it for a week. So we'll see how it goes.
Hey, you have to start somewhere. You have to start
Yeah.
anywhere.
Right.
So that works.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
think
really
that's one of the
great.
things we said
Go
in one
ahead.
of our last podcasts was not number 4, but number 3, I think, is no, it was the mental health, the May
Mhm.
mental health month.
Yeah.
Was if you can only do one kind thing for yourself this month mentally as a content creator or streamer, then you have accomplished something. You have
Mm.
succeeded. Just one thing. So there you go. You've already succeeded. You've done one kind thing for yourself. So
Oh,
I'm
good.
already proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I read something, or no, I think it was I heard something, because I've been doing a lot of research on several different things. But one of the videos that I was watching, one of the creators said to keep your goals, just to help with the whole protecting your mindset and stuff.
Mhm.
One of your goals is, or that your goals should be mostly focused on your input and not the output of what the content would, I guess, like generate. So for example,
Ooh, I like
your
that.
input, yeah.
Mhm.
So that you keep continuing to feel like you're being productive and that you're staying on track. So instead of your goal being, hey, I need to, my goal is to get 30 followers this month, you have
Mhm.
zero control over that. Zero.
Right.
And so
Right.
if you get it, great. But if you don't, then internally you're going to be like, oh, whatever. And then tell yourself all these things about why this isn't for you or whatever, right? If your mind works like that. But if you say instead, over the next 30 days, I'm going to make sure that I at least I make X amount of videos a week, right? 4 videos, 4 clips, whatever, right? Then that's so much more easily obtained because you have full control over that, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Instead of saying, oh, if I get, 20 subs or something, my next stream, which you have zero control over, or you can say, I'm going to make sure that I at least am consistent with streaming. And every time I get on, I'm at least, 2-3 days out of the week, 2 to 3 hours per stream. You have full control over that. And so
Right.
Absolutely.
maybe also for those of you who are listening, making your goals more input that you have full control over instead of output where you're really just, there's so many variables and you have zero control over.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
so
you will
funny
drive
'cause
yourself crazy. Oh, I'm sorry, Calm.
no, you're fine. You're fine. I was just gonna say that's so funny that Hero said that because I'm doing a thing on goals on Wednesday.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
There you go. You can
hello
throw that in there.
universe.
Yeah.
Hello universe. Yep. Hey, don't no. I'm
Plugging.
using that. That is an amazing example. You're gonna have to tell me what video you watched, who you got that from
I sent
later.
it to you. I sent it to you already. It's the one that you asked
Oh,
me
did
if
you?
I'd watched. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I hadn't watched it all the way through yet. I'm just like 15 minutes in. Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say that you'll drive yourself crazy with things that like in your head that you can't control. So having a mental illness, I with my trauma in my past life, my husband travels a lot for work, right? And y'all know if you have trauma or any kind of mental illness that makes you like hyperfixate on something like, oh, he's gonna do
Mhm.
this while he's gone, or gonna do that, blah, 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 blah. Like it just turns into a spiral, right? It's the same thing with anything in life.
Sure.
You will drive yourself mad if you are constantly thinking about things that you cannot control.
Yep.
Mhm.
And once you learn to kind of let that go, I think that that has actually helped me a lot on here too. So also being said, my hyperfixation on my past trauma, I am focusing so much on this now that those voices or like that white noise has kind of quieted. So
Nice.
this can be very, very good for your mental health, or you could drive yourself into the ground saying, if I don't get 20
Yep.
subs or if I don't get this many followers or whatever, like go into this thinking, I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna hang out with my friends. This is not, don't go into this thinking that this is a business. And yes, we all handle this like a small business, right? Because we wanna grow. But these are people that have become my friends. This is my streamer family.
hmm
And you go into this thinking like I'm going to hang out with my friends. We're going to play a video game today. We're going to hand out dick stickers. Like this is fun. We're making jokes, right? And this is where your followers probably need to put in their headphones. But like they make jokes in my chat about the flavor coffee I had because one time I called it cinnamon butthole. And that is a thing that they have run with, right? You have inside jokes. You have all of these things. Like put all the other stuff aside. Have fun with your friends. Do this as something that you're hanging out with your community. Like if you're going to go to a bar and hang out with people, this is kind of the same thing, right? You're
Mhm.
just it's more intimate, I
Yeah.
would think. I don't know. So that's how I kind of look at that. But
Hang out with your friends and make dickers. That's
make dickers. Yep, dickers and cinnamon buttholes.
that's the
is where we're at.
takeaway.
So-
I want to get that creamer, by the way.
The cinnamon butthole creamer?
The cinnamon butthole creamer.
Girl,
I need
you
to
better
get
send
that.
me the powdered kind.
Because that's like a flavor that you can create later. Like when you get into branding your own thing, you could be like, oh, has anyone tried Gypsy's cinnamon butthole,
Cinnamon butthole?
creamer, coffee creamer?
Yeah.
It's a new flavor she just
Yeah.
came out with.
Thanks for the
Think
idea.
about
I'm
it.
telling my husband. He just came home.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's for our brands out there, let's talk.
Right?
Yeah, coffee mate.
Yeah.
Chobani. Hit her up.
Sponsor
Hit a
me.
girl up. Yeah. She needs a sponsor. Come on, guys.
So
Oh my god.
speaking of crazy moments, we're gonna shift on into more of a lighthearted kind of hype round. But what's been some of the like crazier moments that you've experienced with chat that you'll never forget? This is a put your earbuds in. This is an earbud moment. I just feel it. I feel it in my gut.
Aside from the dickers and the butthole creamer.
Okay. So the butthole creamer.
You've been warned.
Okay. So God, how many do I tell you? I will just tell you one that evolved and then I'll leave it at there. How about that?
Sure.
So it does start out with a cinnamon butthole coffee.
Okay.
And very, very innocently, I was drinking from a variety pack of coffees. And every time I would take a sip, I was like, oh, this tastes like asshole. This tastes like cinnamon butthole. And my brain doesn't think about things before I say them out loud a lot. And my chat got a hold of that very early on. And it has been an ongoing joke. And for new people that come in, of course, one of my followers made an emote for me that says, you have been cinnamon buttholed, and it's huge.
Jeez.
So every time she comes in, she says, you've been cinnamon buttholed, which immediately creates confusion and questions, right?
Mhm.
So I have to go into the whole story. And over the last couple months, it has been from coffee flavors to other things. And somebody asked me the other day, and I clipped it. And I don't know if I'm going to put it on TikTok, but I probably will, because I'm going to get canceled one way or the other, right? So she said, one of my followers said, I'm kind of curious how you know what cinnamon butthole tastes like. And without even thinking, I said, girl, have you ever eaten ass before? And
Oh, I remember.
you were in there.
I was like, what? I came
Yeah.
in at the very end of that, and you were like, you guys were laughing and were like, have you ever eaten ass before? And like people were like, it was coming up across the screen in chat, and I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell did I come into? And you know the little deer emote that I have that's going.
Yes.
I
And I remember
put a
seeing
row of
that.
those.
I remember seeing that and
Like,
being like,
what?
oh shit, Calm just got here. I had like, but it was already too late. It was in brain, out of mouth, no filter. And then chat just went wild for it. Bert's put in quotes. He puts in quotes for me when I say something stupid. And all of a sudden I saw it was exclamation ad quote, girl, have you ever eaten ass before?
Yep,
And
that was pinned.
so that's in my quotes now. And then everybody started being like, valid. Continue. Like it was just
What? What?
it was yeah. Bunch of
Wow.
dirty birds. And if you talk about it out with your girlfriends or your guy friends, and then you say you're embarrassed to talk about it, otherwise you're a liar.
Nice.
I'm not embarrassed about it. I think it's funny. Yeah.
I think my favorite part about this transition is that we're going from that to words that you want to leave future streamers.
Yep. I know. I'm looking at the outline like, this is going to be a fun transition.
Okay.
This won't be edited out. We're clipping. We're keeping this for sure. 1000%.
Oh yeah, we got to keep. Yeah, we're keeping it.
Well, and that probably actually segues great into that question, because when I first started this, I was so afraid to be me.
Mm-hmm.
So afraid to be me. I am immature. Everything is a joke. Like I think farts are funny. Like whatever, right? Have fun with the stuff that people are embarrassed about. And I had to be uncomfortable to be comfortable. And I don't know how I can translate that, but I had to go out of my comfort zone, because if you stay comfortable, you will stay where you are forever.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of your comfort zone, and then you can be uncomfortable again and again and again and again. But then you become so comfortable in your own skin and who you are.
Yep.
And my personality, I'm so okay with love me or hate me. I don't care. And people need to get to that point. Stop doing this for other people. Do it for you. Be who you are, genuinely and authentically, and people will gravitate towards you like a moth to a flame. It just happens very organically, but you have to be who you are. And if that means making fart jokes and getting dick stickers and handing those out, then your people will come to you, I promise.
Make it. They will come. If you're old, you get that.
Yeah.
If you're old, you
Yeah.
get that movie reference.
Yes, I do. But yeah, just stay authentic to who you are. And even if it makes you uncomfortable, the right people will show up for you.
Yeah. I think that's I think it's definitely something that people are concerned about, right? Because they want to make sure that they get the viewers and that people find them and that they stay. And, and it's almost like until they actually do it and see it, they don't believe it. And what I mean by that is until they actually really show up and just be their true self on camera and see for themselves that after I do that, people still show up, people still are here. And sometimes on certain streams or whatever, like people continue to come back. And that's your community.
It's like going into something trying to be somebody else, right? You're trying to keep up with a lie. And lying. Okay, so I would rather just be me than trying to keep up with a lie, because you're not always going to keep up with it. You're not going to remember the things you said or who
It's
you
exhausting.
are. Right?
It's exhausting.
So be yourself, and then you never have to remember the lie. It's like, tell the truth, and then you don't have to remember the lie. Just be honest.
Yeah.
And one of the things that has resonated with me since I saw it, I made a TikTok about it. Hero, when you said, and I don't know if I was quoting it right, but you know exactly what I'm going to say.
Yep.
It was, you can never say the wrong thing in a
Come
room
on.
full of the right people, right? And I have remembered that every single day since you've said it. And I put it in me, and I was like, fuck yeah, let's go, dude. Like, that's exactly how it needs to be. And it just kind of like came out naturally after that.
Yep.
And the views started coming in, like the follows started coming in, and I was like, holy shit, like people like me, which is super weird because like I've never been cool ever. So like
Until now.
I guess at least to 400 people. So like or 23.9 on average. So whatever.
I love how you put in the average. I'm going to remember that next time my kid gives me a hard time about, look, I am cool to 3.4 people every
On
day.
average.
On average. or 20 people. Whatever. So kick rocks, kid.
Right? But yes, that's what I would leave for people who are questioning that, or any advice I would give to a new streamer. That and don't put too much on yourself. Start slow, start organic. Ask questions. There are so many streamers who do not gatekeep. They will take time out of their day to help you. Ask questions.
Absolutely.
Ask
That's one of my
questions.
favorite things is the non-gatekeeping. I love it so much.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, great. So here we are at the end of our segment, and I want to take this opportunity for you to tell the viewers and the listeners where they can find you.
So I am on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube right now. It is GYPZEE_sin_Dorella. Super difficult, I know. Yeah, just those 3 for right now because that's all I can keep up with.
That's good.
Girl, I know.
Yeah. It's a
I
lot.
do have a little announcement if I am allowed to say it on
Please, yes, go for it. Yeah,
Go ahead.
absolutely.
Go for it.
Okay. So you guys know I'm into the supernatural, paranormal, like spirity stuff. Amber Wolf and I have come up with a segment that we're going to do once a month on
Oh,
a Saturday for spooky stories and kind of origin of like where beliefs on death, cremation, vampires, like all the stuff, like what we
Let's
have turned it into
go.
today, right?
Yeah.
What we have turned it into today and where it actually originated from and true stories. Also, Calm Appalachia.
I
So the
know. I
Appalachian
was like,
Mountains.
I was like, if you
Wait,
do one on the
Appalachia. Thank you.
Appalachian, the
Thank you, thank
Appalachian
you.
Mountains, baby, Appalachian. Yep. I was like, if y'all do one on that, you got to let me know. If you need somebody to talk to for a few minutes or whatever, I will be there. I will be
Yes.
there.
And Umbra is actually also, and I can never say it right, and it's because my whatever. Anyways, I can't say it right, but Appalachian, correct?
The Appalachian Mountains.
Appalachian. Okay, she is also from Appalachian Mountains. So
I know. I didn't know that. I was like, what?
yeah.
See, that's why I like her so much. That's why. We the same peoples.
So yeah, if you guys have ghost stories or want to guest on that, and it's just telling like experiences and stuff like that, I do have a Discord, and it's going to be under the channel of the Tarot Room, and under Between the Veil is what the segment is going to be called.
Nice.
Awesome.
That is so cool. I'm so looking forward to that. I'll have to send you some ideas from like the Filipino side because my mom's very.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
you can just guess.
Oh, she's got some good stories from
Yeah. I'll even pretend like her if you need me to. We can talk about the aswang. It's
The
Sorry.
neighborhood Lola.
yeah.
What?
I knew you were
You
gonna
had her
stop
at
me.
ass.
I knew you were gonna stop me for that just because of how the name starts. I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
It's called
the Filipino
there-
accent though, and then you're like aswang, and I was like,
you heard me.
did I?
You heard me right.
That's how it's.
Yeah, the aswang.
You said what you said.
Aswang.
Aswang.
Mhm. Yeah. And so it's
Got it.
basically like their version, Filipino version of a vampire. But my mom,
Yes.
yeah, dude, like my mom's told me some crazy stories and I'm like, get out of here. And she's like, no, it's true. It's true.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I already signed you up, so
Okay.
I know you have 8 bajillion things to do, but you're gonna guest on the.
Just
the
keep
vampire
piling them on. It's
special,
fine. But yeah, that'd be great.
God.
That's cool. I'm so
awesome.
like my brother's big on like conspiracy theory and stuff, and so he'll just kind of ramble about whatever. I love stuff like this. Like listen to stories where it originated from versus how it's turned out to now.
Yeah.
So cool.
Well, I have this book, and I don't know if you can see it very well on the thing, but this talks about from cremation all the way until like the afterlife and how death affects the living and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So where things originated from, and oh my God, I'm fascinated.
Let's go.
So pick out something that you want to talk about, and we'll do a segment. We are going to stream it, so everybody gets help.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I think that would be awesome if you want to do it. I'm
Okay.
excited.
Yeah.
Filipino vampires. Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
We can compare like the American version versus the Filipino version because there's some differences. It's some quite
Oh,
some differences.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool thing to
Absolutely.
do. The comparison. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing.
Well, hell yeah.
Okay, cool. So just so you know, when I post these videos like on YouTube and then Spotify, I'll make sure that all of your all your handles and everything and where people can find you will be in the description also. So you're just a
Sweet.
click
So
away and they'll
probably
go right to you.
didn't need to spell that out.
That's fine. Just for fun.
Just for funsies. There'll be no
Awesome.
test.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Gypsy, for being on with us.
Yeah. Thank you
Yes,
for having me.
thank
This was fun.
you.
Yeah, lots of really good information here that I think a lot of
A ton,
really new
a ton. streamers,
but then just streamers in general are really going to benefit from. So
Awesome.
appreciate you
I've
sharing.
benefited from it already. Stuff that I needed to hear.
Yeah.
So
You're
yeah.
welcome.
What can I say? But you're welcome. You're welcome.
People are going to hear this and be like, what is wrong with her? Also, insert sarcasm in most places.
Awesome. Well, thank you so
All right.
much. And we'll see you around. See you in the next one.
All right.
Bye, Gypsy.
Bye.
Love you. Hey, guys. Thank you for watching. Remember, please, to follow, review, and share this episode of The Compass and the Cape on Spotify, YouTube, and we also have a TikTok channel and our Discord.
And we love you guys and we thank you so much for all the support.
Whether you're planning your first subathon or just figuring out where to begin, remember, you're not alone in this quest. We'll see you next time on The Compass and the Cape.
Bye, guys.